When we talk legendary storytelling in gaming, one name echoes through the shadows: Metal Gear Solid. When you hear Metal Gear, what hits first? Epic stealth sequences, Kodak calls, camouflage suits, a ninja doing backflips with a katana, or maybe a tank with freaking T-Rex legs? Welcome to Hideo Kojima's world. Solid Snake has the most elite disguise in espionage gaming. And yes, I'm talking about a cardboard box, Peak Stealth, where Snake flirts mid-mission like it's Love Island.
Who's that?
Nice to meet you, Snake. What's wrong?
Nothing. I just didn't expect a world-class designer of military technology to be so cute.
And cutscenes run so long, you start wondering, did I accidentally boot up Netflix? Whether it's Solid Snake, Big Boss, Solid Snake, Old Snake, that guy, or even Naked Snake. We didn't ask for all of that, Konami. I'm kinda glad we got it. This is espionage turned full Kojima. Cause Metal Gear is more than just a stealth game. So buckle up as we take you through the legacy of this emotional cinematic espionage opera in 3 acts. Our fundamental reason why we play Metal Gear Solid. What's good, PC gamers? I'm Midas, and just like you, I'm assuming from the fact that you clicked this video, I am hyped for Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. So, cast your mind back to the OG Metal Gear. No, not that far back. We're talking about the 1998 PS1 classic. Long before The Last of Us tore out our hearts, Snake was already turning video games into pure cinema. Act 1. The lore that melted our brains. There are countless ways to describe MGS's story. Genius, genre-defining, trailblazing. But one thing is for sure, it's never boring. From the opening moments of Metal Gear Solid, you felt like you stepped onto the set of a Cold War action flick. Mercenary Solid Snake launches from a submarine into an SDV, followed by slick cinematic shots that usher you into a high-stakes facility. Brilliant voice acting lays out the mission brief, and you're instantly hooked by the operations intel. Foxhound has taken over a nuclear facility on Shadow Moses Island, and they're ready to launch a nuke. Then boom! The twist. They're secretly housing Metal Gear Rex. Snake is thrown into a gauntlet of epic boss battles. I'm talking Psycho Mantis, one-to-one combat against a tank, and the bombshell that the main antagonist is a clone of another legend, Big Boss. MGS masterfully blends real-world politics and gritty combat with high-concept science fiction. Then along comes MGS2. Here, the spotlight shifts. Although marketed with Solid Snake at the helm, we only control him in the opening tanker chapter, a mission where our retired hero looks for intel on a new Metal Gear model, Metal Gear Ray. Everything goes sideways when Revolver Ocelot and his Russian mercenaries show up. 2 years later, you're thrust into the role of Raiden.
What's your name?
Raiden.
That's an odd name.
Yep, Snake turns into a cameo and an undercover ally. MGS2 dives deep into themes of AI, betrayal, and family drama, leaving you questioning what's real and what's just mind games. It's wild to think that a game from 2001 could be so relevant with its insight into digital warfare, media manipulation, and political deception. Where do you go from there? 1964, obviously. MGS3 zagged where you thought it would zig, traded in the high-tech, high-concept weirdness of the second game for a more personal tale that plunged us right into the icy waters of the Cold War. This was an origin story, how a young soldier named Naked Snake turned into Big Boss, the greatest soldier of the 20th century, and Solid Snake's clone dad. Also, you fight a B guy. This is still Metal Gear after all. Got it. Where MGS2 dazzled you with fancy pontificating about AI and the internet, MGS3 was all about the relationship between Naked Snake and his mentor, the boss. She's the person he loves most in the world and the woman he has to kill to stop the world erupting into nuclear war. Pretty rough as workdays go. It's the boss who is the real star of MGS3. Confident, competent, and the person who taught Snake everything he knows. The notion that you'll actually have to fight her at some point is generally terrifying. When it comes time for the showdown, you'll have to use every single lesson and trick you learn over the course of the game, and then you have to settle in for one of the biggest tearjerkers in video game history. Act 2. Boss battles that broke our minds. Sneaking about is all well and good, but it's when the guns come out that Metal Gear truly gets weird. The series has had some of the greatest boss battles in history, from switching your controller port to take on Psycho Mantis, to turning the game off for a week to make the End die from old age, or the president riding a Harrier jet piloted by a vampire. Kojima never misses. Not many games can boast that having some of the greatest boss fights of all time, but MGS 1, 2 and 3 get on the top 10 list bare minimum. In the first game is Psycho Mantis, who will freak you out by reading the save games that you have on your system before breaking the fourth wall to make you think your TV's gone haywire. MGS 2 meet Fortune, unique in the annals of boss fight history for the fact that you literally cannot hit her. Your grenades turn into duds, your bullets whiz around her, even your punches don't work. The key is to reject everything your long gaming career has taught you about boss fights and just endure, desperately hoping something will eventually come along and distract her.
That went nowhere.
But MGS3 takes the crown. Sure, the boss fight against, the boss will have you weeping like a baby, but it's the fight with the End that really belongs in the history books.
Do you hear me, Snake? I am the End.
This epic duel takes place across multiple maps. With so many ways to fight him, I'm sure we're yet to discover them all. Sneak up on him, hold him, eat his parrot, scatter some mines around, or whip out your own sniper rifle and beat him at his own game. And that's if you don't cheat by letting old age do him in.
Major, I found the End. He's dead.
Boss fights are where Metal Gear gets more creative and most memorable. And every time you think you've seen it all, Kojima whips out something entirely new that came to him in a fever dream. Act 3. Stealth mechanics that rewrote the rules. Before you even drop into the first mission in Metal Gear Solid, the game lets you hit up VR training. Yet, Kojima's way of saying, learn to sneak before you get smoked. This wasn't your average tutorial. It taught you the fundamentals of Snake's entire moveset. And at a time when action games were all about explosions and chaos, MGS made waiting in the dark, choking out guards, and hiding in lockers feel like elite level strategy. So how did Konami make silence, suspense, and sneak attacks fun? Well, just like in any great spy movie, Snake is kitted out like a paramilitary god. Rifles, missile launchers, explosives, gas masks, thermal goggles, and even a mine detector. But let's be real, stealth is king. Most of the time you're relying on your wits, a laser-sighted MK23 SOCOM pistol, and yes, a pack of cigarettes. What MGS nailed was making every encounter feel personal. NPCs were smart, they react to sound, follow your footsteps in the snow, and if you knocked on a wall, they'd come to investigate. And if you did get caught, don't expect a colossal shootout. Enemies flood the area, reinforcements keep coming, and your only real option is to disappear. Every element in combat mattered, there was no hand-holding. Even the map, that sacred tool in most games, was entwined into the story, and in MGS2 it had to be earned. That is until MGS3, where the series mixed things up with a 60s setting that meant you didn't have fancy high-tech maps to help you along the way. Instead, you had to use your eyes and ears to keep tabs on enemies in the jungle, or else put your trust into gadgets like a fuzzy sonar with limited battery to keep you out the hands of the KGB and the GR troops. Hey, the greatest soldier of the 20th century doesn't need GPS, right?
So this is the legendary boss.
Things reached their peak in MGS3 when the series added a whole new camouflage mechanic to make its stealth more flexible than ever. In the forest, put on your leafy green camo, plus it gave Kojima a great new excuse to get even weirder than ever. You could unlock US face paint and a special poop costume that meant Snake was always surrounded by flies. He's a top secret special agent, folks. Metal Gear Solid didn't just teach us how to sneak, it made stealth feel cool, and the genre's never been the same since. But now we want to hear from you. What is your favorite Metal Gear memories? Which game did you start with? And is Delta your first dive into Snake Eater? Or are you a seasoned vet who's been hunting snakes and chomping frogs since day one? Drop your answers in the comments, we read them all. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video, you are wonderful. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button, and for all things Metal Gear Solid Delta and the world of PC gaming, make sure you subscribe to PC Gamer.